Buenos dias, muchachos. Today's video, I'm gonna teach you how to make $2,000 a week just driving Lyft. Stay tuned. Okay, I've gotten this question numerous times before, and I wanna explain to people how they can generate the most amount of income just driving Lyft in their hometown. No matter what town you live in, there is a need for rides. Everybody needs a ride, and it's not just tourism. I personally live in Las Vegas, so I'm a little bit spoiled when it comes to the amount of rides. Las Vegas Boulevard constantly has tourists. There are always people needing rides because they're tired of taking taxis, because the prices of taxis have gone up so high that it's just absurd to think that you can get a Lyft or an Uber for a third of the price. In every city, there are people that live there. Those people either A, don't have a car, B, are too scared to drive a car, or C, their car broke down and they need a ride somewhere. All three of those people are prime candidates to get you rides. Now in Las Vegas, there is a lot of tourism. Those people do need rides, but I only use the tourists as a default. Say I'm driving around and I pick somebody up and I take them to the strip, then yes, I will drive around the strip looking for a ride. But the problem with Las Vegas Boulevard is the fact that there are so many other Uber and Lyft drivers. I mean, there are hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds within one square block of the strip. So the likelihood of you getting a ride is very, very slim if you don't know exactly how to do it here. The way that I really like to find the clients on Las Vegas Boulevard, I don't know if many people know this trick, but here in Las Vegas, it's not like every other city. In Las Vegas, each hotel has a very specific pickup area. Now the hotels do that because they want to alleviate traffic, because if everything went to the front door, like limos, taxis, buses, people just picking up their friends or dropping off their friends, valet, as well as Ubers and Lyfts, it would be impossible to drive through it. So, for instance, the Bellagio has their tour bus lobby, which is actually underneath their parking garage. Up top is where the taxis pick up, but they also have a tunnel underneath where they stage and then come up top. They have their valet up top, and then the Ubers and Lyfts are downstairs where the tour buses are. Now, like I said, every hotel has their dedicated spot. Now that spot is marked by a purple dot on their application when they open it up. They click where they are, that purple spot shows up, they drop the pin right on that spot, and they should be ready right as they request a ride, because there are so many cars that a car is going to show up in 1 to 2 minutes and instantly give you a ride. So if you think about it logically, get your car as close to that GPS spot as humanly possible, and then the likelihood of you getting a ride quicker is higher, because even if there are two cars the same distance from that GPS spot, and then one person requests a ride and then immediately after another, you're still going to get a ride either way. Whether you're first or second, you don't have to wait 25 minutes in an odd area where there's too much competition and you won't get your ride. You'll see this throughout Las Vegas. Like, for example, at the Excalibur. On the corner of their building is where their pickup area is, near the Royal Tower, and there will be 4 cars lined up there. Now, maybe 3 of those 4 cars have a pickup because they got requested, but the other one's sitting there in hopes that another person's gonna need a ride, and he'll get one right away. What I've learned, I've done over 5,000 rides with Lyft, and the thing with every job is there are people that are good at their jobs, and there are people that suck at their jobs. The longer you do something, the better you get at it. And in my case, I've found a lot of success off the strip. And by off the strip, I mean in areas around Maryland Parkway, in Henderson, in Summerlin, in North Las Vegas, and all those different areas, they have to be worked differently. And the only way to really learn that is to actually drive around those areas and see where you find success. My 2 favorite areas in town are North Las Vegas and east of the strip, from Maryland Parkway to about Eastern. Those areas, now I don't mean to judge anyone based on their income or anything, but most people that live in extended stays like Seagull Suites or Extended Stay Americas, those people usually have low income. You know, they're a husband and wife household with a couple of kids and they're renting an apartment. You know, they're both working jobs, but they're spending all of their money on their children and on their cost of living, so they can't afford a car most of the time. Those people also need rides. They need to get to work. They need to pick up their children from school. They need to go to Walmart to get some groceries. And the concept of Lyft is that everyone needs a lift. So I facilitate that need. They're very happy. And it's a mutual beneficial agreement. These people need a ride, I give them a ride. Now, when you ask most people their biggest fear of driving Uber or Lyft is the fact that they don't want to get mugged or they don't know who's in their car. But what I've learned over the 5,000 rides that I've done is that the people that need the ride the most, the people that have lower incomes, those people are the most kind and most generous. They actually thank you. They have a quality conversation with you. They don't treat you like you're a piece of meat that just is chauffeuring them around. Now, when you're driving in these areas, I don't like to sit in one spot. I find it very inefficient because I don't know who's around me, what other competition I have. So I like to pick a very busy street that has a lot of shopping centers and also a lot of apartments. And I like to just drive up and down it and see if I can catch something. I always use the analogy that driving an Uber or a Lyft is like fishing. You rock your boat down the lake, you have your lines in the water, you drive it nice and slow, and eventually you'll catch something because you'll pass by a pocket like an apartment complex or a Target where people just went shopping and they need a ride. And that's where I find nearly all of my success in the area. I always drive down busy streets. They always have shopping centers. It's a must. Like, you have to do it. That's where the most money is. Now, one very common mistake, especially here, is the fact that people rely too much on Lyft and Uber just giving them the rides. The way that the app works is that you're matched with the closest person to you. So somebody requests a ride. If you are the closest car to them, then you will get the ride. Most people here in Las Vegas, they think that the busiest area is the best area, but usually the busiest area has the most competition. For example, the airport. Now here in Las Vegas, we have a large parking lot just across the street from the airport where there are hundreds and hundreds of Uber and Lyft cars. That parking lot is GPS tracked. So once you pull on it, your app knows where you are and it will put you in a digital queue, like a digital line, to go pick up a ride. Usually I don't see any less than 100 other Lyft cars in front of me. So there are hundreds of cars there. And I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people coming out of the airport, but you have to sit there for a good 30 minutes before you even get a ride. And when it's slow, like Monday through Wednesday, you gotta wait at least an hour before you get a ride. Whereas you can just easily drive up and down the Strip or up and down Eastern and find even more rides in less time and eventually just make more money than sitting at the airport. Now, I understand why people sit at the airport. They don't want to waste gas, they want to keep costs low, but end of the day, they're making far less money than I am because the airport is so close to the Strip that they're just making, a 5-6 minute ride and then they're done. Okay. Now that I've given you the rundown of how the city works and how your town could work, the thing that you have to remember is that this is your job now. You have to set goals, you have to set hours, and you have to set expectations for yourself. You need to have a schedule. Now, my schedule is a little bit different because we have a very odd bonus structure here. We have to get, there's 4 tiers of bonuses. I don't even bother with the other 3, it's just the top one that I worry about. It is an additional $360 that Lyft gives me if I hit 160 rides for the week. And of that 160, 60 of them are during peak hours. Now, peak hours, according to the Lyft app, are Monday through Friday between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. And then also in the evening from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. There's also a few more on Saturday from 8 to 9 p.m. And then on Sunday or Friday night from like 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. But I'm not nocturnal. I'm not going to be driving around at 1 a.m. The most common misconception with getting rides is that you only think that drunk people need rides. Everybody needs rides. So if you're only counting on the bar scene, you're gonna be working super late at night. You're gonna be risking your car getting thrown up in, which is a huge no-no. So it takes a long time to get reimbursed for that. I'm still working on one that I got 3 months ago. So with all that being said, hitting the total number of rides that you need for the top bonus, you have to schedule yourself so you're hitting both the morning and the evening peak hours. Now, you can't just, you could, but it would be difficult to work from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. every single day. That's 14 hours of your life. So what I like to do is I wake up at 5:30, I'm on the road by 6, I get that first 3 hours of peak rides, and then towards about 1 o'clock, I will take a break. Because it's so hot in Vegas, that helps a lot too. But I'll take a break for a few hours, I'll come home, I'll get back on the road by 4 o'clock, and then I'll work, 4 to 8 p.m. and get the evening peak hours. And that way, I'm only working 11 hours. Yes, it's a lot of hours. Yes, it's a big time commitment, but in my honest opinion, a day's work is a day's work. Whether it's 8 hours, 10 hours, or 11 hours, you're still sacrificing your day to work. If you have to wake up at 5, get dressed, shower, put on your uniform, drive through heavy traffic, get to work your 8 hours, but in between you have to take your lunch break, which you don't usually get paid for, so that turns into 9 hours. Then you have to come home, drive through traffic again, which takes another hour, and then you're home, you get undressed, you change into your normal clothes. It's the same thing. It's working and working. One may seem like it's longer, but if you put all the travel time and everything together, they're exactly the same. The only difference is I get to wear shorts and flip-flops, and when I walk out the door, I log into my app. I'm already at work, just like that. Again, with the bonuses, it's the most important thing when it comes to driving Lyft or Uber. If it wasn't for the bonus, the amount of money that I would make per ride wouldn't make sense, to me anyway. And that extra $360 is really, really worth it. Like, it completely changes a standard income to a much higher income that's suitable for my needs. So always go for the bonuses. If you're driving Uber and they don't have a bonus structure in your town, definitely try using Lyft. Now, a lot of people ask me, well, what about the wear and tear on your car and the amount of money you spend on gas and your car payment and your insurance and everything? Yeah, that's important, but if you really break it down, you have a car anyway, so you're making that car payment. You have insurance on that car, so you're already making that payment. You buy gas, once a week or every 2 weeks, and that's the only thing that changes. I fill up 1 tank a day. I have a 10-gallon tank, costs me about $30 in my area, because gas is like $3 right now. So that amount of money increase is negligible compared to the amount of income that I make, and including the freedom of time that I have being my own boss and working my own schedule. So if you're caught up on the car payment, the insurance, and the gas, don't be. It doesn't even matter. Plus, at the end of the year, all that stuff is a tax write-off for you. Now, when it comes to choosing a car, the most important thing to remember is to keep costs low. I have a Hyundai Accent that costs $10,000. My payments are under $200. Insurance is insurance. It is whatever it is in your area. But the reason why I chose that car was because it was cheap and I knew I was going to use it for one purpose and one purpose alone. Yeah, I use it sometimes, for going to the grocery store or driving to California, but it's primarily used for my business. And if you think about your car as a business asset as opposed to your car and your baby, and you don't want anyone screwing it up, you've got it backwards. You have to use it for your business. So always try to get the cheapest car with the best fuel economy and the lowest price. Once you start getting up into the higher end cars like the black Lexuses or the black Escalades, you're gonna be getting far fewer rides. And with the amount of money that you're spending on your payment and on gas, because it's a performance engine or it's a V8 engine, your cost versus your income, it basically breaks down as the same. And there's so much inconsistency in more luxury rides because most people Yeah, you'll get some more luxury rides here in Vegas because the clientele want it, but most people just want the cheapest ride possible and to get where they need to go. Now, one of the things that's most important in getting that 160 rides is Lyft lines. Most people don't like Lyft lines because, they make less money on them or whatever, but what you have to remember is that that adds to your total number of rides so that you can hit your bonuses much easier. And with the Lyft line, which is now called shared, it's very important that you not always go straight on the highway to your passenger's destination, but try to pick a route that has more residential areas because you'll have a better likelihood of finding other passengers that are going in that same direction, and you can turn one ride into 5 and you can knock that out in about 20 minutes. So it's very, very important that you take advantage of the shared rides. Okay, here's where luck, skill, talent, and just good karma roll into the whole thing. I'm a strong believer in karma and doing well and being good to other people. And I always think in a way that everything was meant to be the way it is. So if I'm in a situation where I'm on the strip and it's, pretty busy and I'm getting a lot of rides, and then somebody needs a ride all the way across town and it's going to take 35 minutes to get there, I realize that that ride, it's not taking me away from the business, it's taking me towards my next ride. And I know that's silly to think, but positivity and good vibes and good energy, like putting that out in the universe, always, always helps. Even if it's fake, it's more of like a fake it till you make it kind of scenario. So I take that ride way out of town, I drop them off, and sure enough, every single time, boom, I get another ride. They go somewhere else, I get another ride, and then they take me right back to the strip. And in that amount of time, I did 3 rides instead of sitting in my area, and all those rides were long, so I get more money for it. So I still got my 3 rides, and I get back to where I was. So everything has a path, and just follow the flow. The only time I don't recommend taking those long rides is when it's peak hours. So during peak hours, you need to stay in a concentrated area. Downtown cities, school districts during the school season, they have a lot of people that need a lot of rides. And if you take one that's going to take you 35 minutes way out of the way, then you have to get back to a more populated area, and it becomes more difficult to hit those numbers for that bonus to get those peak ride hours. So with Lyft, you have to maintain a 90% acceptance rate. So with 160 rides, you get 16 cancels per week. So use them wisely and make sure that you try to only use them during peak hours. You also have to remember that not every single day is going to be exactly the same. Some rides are going to be super short, some rides are going to be super long. Some days you'll make 200, some days you'll make 300, some days you'll make 400. But you always have to remember your average. You're going for the same number of rides every single week. And with that, you just divide up the number of rides. And I've been averaging $7.50 per ride with the ride cost as well as the gratuity added on the ride in the app. I do not count my cash tips. I put them in a drawer over here and I just ignore them until the stack is full, and then I deposit that. And it's just kind of like free money. I don't even count it into my income. It just is what it is. It's there. If it helps me buy an extra pair of shoes, awesome. So when it comes to different cities, if you are in an area like Phoenix where all your rides are, 20, 30, 40 minutes long, then you're probably not going to go for the bonuses. You're going to go for the longer rides. So just get on the road, drive your set schedule, and stick with it. If you are trying to maintain the bonus structure, always remember to hit the bonuses. It's very, very important, and that's why you need to use your cancels wisely, because you want to get the most amount of rides in a day that you possibly can. Now, the last thing that I wanted to talk about was the rental car program through Lyft. I've done it. It's very expensive. It's around $250 a week. But with that, if you hit, I think it's 113 rides, you get a $190 bonus, and that helps you pay the cost of your rental car, but you're still out $60 a week. So you're getting your rides, you're getting your tips, and then you're spending $60 a week in fees to rent a car. And I know that may not sound too bad, but if you actually break down the cost of your car, if you owned it plus your insurance, you're only looking at $400 or less per month, whereas the rental car is $1,000 a month. You don't have to do the maintenance on it. You don't have to have insurance on it. They give you the car, but you're still out $60. But it's not just $60. You're out the additional $360 that you could be making on the bonuses. So you're looking at $420 every week. That's a huge chunk of money. So the most I was able to make with the rental program was just under $1,000. And now working 4 or 5 days a week, depending on how many hours I want to put in, I'm averaging $1,600 a week. Now, to get to the bottom line, I know you guys want to know how much I'm making. You want to see actual proof of it. So let's get into my phone. So as you can see here, I have the Lyft app as well as the Lyft driver app. I only use the Lyft app to get information on how many cars are in my area, just to see the amount of competition and see if I should move a little bit. Now, under the Lyft driver app, you have your dashboard. You're gonna go to your dashboard, and so far today, if it'll load any faster, I've gotten 14 rides before my break. I'm doing this ride on my break. You know, it shows you my acceptance rate, my lifetime rides. I've got over 5,000, and my rating, which is 4.91. Now, if you want to get to your earnings, if you want to get to your payment information, you just go down to the middle here where it says earnings, click that, and it'll show you currently today, 14 rides, 5 hours, and then it'll show you so far what you have for the week. Now, when you go down, it says balance underneath, and under that it says payout activity. Now, if you click on that, you look at how much you're making every single week. Now, these aren't bi-weekly payouts, they're payouts that are weekly every Wednesday. Now, this last week, I made just under $1,500, and the 2 weeks prior to that, I was actually on vacation in Mexico, Lake Tahoe, in California, because that's the beauty of being self-employed. You get to take time off whenever you want. But if you go down a little bit further, you can see that I was hitting $1,600, $1,500, $1,300, $1,400, $1,400, and I'm doing this consistently every single week. And then when it's not, you know, that's usually a vacation time for me. But it's very, very consistent. I'm making on average $1,500 a week, if not more. Okay, so in my title, I said, learn how to make $2,000 per week. I average $1,500 per week right now, and that breaks down to about $300 per day. I usually work 5 days a week. Now, I'm in money-making mode because I just got off of vacation, so I'm extremely motivated right now to get my bank account back up. So I will be working 7 days a week. But because my schedule has changed and I'm taking a longer break in the middle of the day, so I'm working 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. and then I take a break from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. and I get a nice 4-hour chunk at home to spend with my wife, hang out, make these videos, and then I go back out at 5 p.m. until 8 p.m. and then I come home. I do the same thing. I edit these videos at home. I spend time with my wife, and I'm still getting that quality family time that I've been wanting to get because family time is important. But with that new schedule, I get that family time, plus I'm adding on 2 extra days because I really, really want to hustle. So now that I'm adding those extra 2 days on, I'm going to I usually average $250 per day, and that's without the bonuses. So, I mean, again, some days are worse, some days are better. But if you take my $1,500 and you add an extra 2 days, which is an additional $500, I will be making $2,000, if not a little bit under, every single week. And I'm gonna do that for as long as I can, get my bank account back up, and really, really hustle. Because if you're in work mode, you're in work mode. Make money. When you have money and you're spending less, that's your profit right there. So you get to play with that money. You can either vacation with that money, or you can reinvest that money. You can take a large lump sum of $10,000 and start your own business. You know, use that as a down payment on a property if you want to open up a bookstore, or whatever your goals and passions might be in life. But being able to have a low cost of living and a higher income is going to allow you to have a wealthy lifestyle. Wealth is completely relative. I mean, if your payments are low and you got, you know, a $500 apartment and a couple $100 in utilities and groceries, and you're making $6,000 a month, you're rich, bro. But on the other hand, if you have, you know, a nice Mercedes as well as your Lyft car, and then you have, you know, a $500,000 house and your mortgage payment's $3,000 and your car payment's $1,000, then this isn't going to sound like that much money to you. But in my experience, it's best to keep a low cost of living until, you know, you're at the point where you can be fancy and you've, you know, become an adult and you have children and you have that stability in your life and you don't need Lyft anymore because you have your own businesses. That's when you can have the lifestyle that you want. But until then, you have to work at it. This is how the hustle goes. You make money, you spend money, you save money, you invest money, and you grow every single year. I used to be a limo driver and I thought I was balling at that point. You know, I had a condo / apartment and I was making about $3,000 a month and I thought, you know, I was on top of the world. But then that all fell apart for me and I was diverted into this path, and I realized once I honed in my skills that I could make twice as much money doing this. So it all depends on your life situation. And even if you want to do this part-time, it's totally viable, because say I worked solid 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. just on Monday and Tuesday. That would allow me to get 14 hours in each day. Now, if you multiply that by 2, you get 28. I'm averaging 3 rides per hour. So 28 times 3 is 84. Now, if you multiply 84 by my average income per ride is $750, that's an additional $630 for 2 days of work. And that's not including the bonuses that you'd hit, and you'd probably hit the $100 bonus at that point, so you'd make $700. Most people make that in a week, you know, at a lower end job. So you're looking at an additional $2,800 a month on the side if you just want to do this 2 days a week. So I would highly, highly recommend this as like a part-time, you know, side gig also, as well as doing it full-time for just your career. You don't have a boss. You can wear whatever you want. You can say the F word in your car as many times as you want. Some people might get offended, but hey, it's your car. You can do whatever you want. You can take vacations whenever you want. You can take your lunch break whenever you're hungry. You don't have to ask to go to the bathroom. And all these freedoms is what makes this the best job, in my opinion, for me right now. Okay, I hope you guys really enjoyed my video. One favor I have to ask of you, if you've never signed up with Lyft or Uber, I don't have an Uber code, but I do have a Lyft code, and it's posted down below right in the description. So if you use that code and you sign up for Lyft as a new driver, you will get an additional $500 in the first 30 days that you work, and I will get $500 in the first 30 days that you work. Now, the whole concept behind it is we get $2 for the first 250 rides that you do. So every ride that you do, you get $2 and I get $2. And over the course of 250 rides, you get an additional $500 for the first 30 days, or however long it takes you to do those 250 rides, as well as me. And yeah, if you're up for that, the link's down below. If you're not, use somebody else's link, because the bonus for you is better. So sign up with the bonus, with somebody's promotion code, and if you want to use mine, it's right down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you aren't already. I post a video every single day. Not always about Lyft, actually rarely about Lyft. I just wanted to get this out there. Hit the thumbs up button, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Later.